Welcome to Canvas Projects, a virtual program offering from the Pflugerville Public Library. I'm Meg Miller, an Adult Services Librarian, here with another fun project geared to ages 12 and up for you to complete. Those who registered through the library calendar can pick up their material supply kits, and for everyone else watching, we hope you give these techniques a try. This month's project is a pouring paint dip project. Yes, I know, despite what our little tag says there. So let's start with a look at the supplies being provided. This month we've got these great little takeout containers for our travel instead of a bag or a envelope like we tend to have, very much because I like this clear plastic top. This is going to be something that we're going to use in completing our project going forward. So we do have a picture of what we're going to get. I know it does say watercolor plant shelf. If you did that one, that was a really fun one. But the supply list is correct on this. So first you are getting 2 4x4 canvases. Just in case the pouring paint exploded or leaked in transit, I went ahead and put your 2 canvases in a little plastic bag to keep it safe. And then we have our 5 paint pouring colors. It's kind of a beachy. We do have, the most you have is black. We had a fair amount left over from other projects of just a pouring masters jet black. And then the set I got for this particular project is a Nick Pro metallics. You know, I love a sparkle. So you have a pearl blue. There is a pearl turquoise. Of course, a metallic gold. And then finally a pearl white. Metallic pearl white. And those are the 5 colors we have of our pouring paint. You have the bottom of your container, and then I did send 2 kind of skewer dowels that we'll use to help mix the paint and marble the paint within our container. I don't have my work surface covered. You could if that was something that you felt more comfortable doing. Since I'm going to mostly be working in the little container itself, I feel like I'll probably be kind of all right. If you've got a paper towel or even just a piece of scrap paper, you might use that with a little cup that we'll be able to put our canvases on once they're painted so that they can kind of drip dry. I wouldn't necessarily want to put the canvas with paint on directly onto the paper towel. It wouldn't be the worst thing, but once that paint dries and you do move it, you'll probably have a little bit of paper towel stuck to the bottom of your canvas. So if you've got something small you can prop it up on afterwards as it dries, that works too. If you use the bottom, if we use the top for paint and we don't use the bottom, this is a coated cardboard, so you could drop it in there and let it dry in there, and then it should peel off the bottom of that all right. But you could also use a dip for this guy instead of the clear one like we're going to go ahead and do for us. If I'm going to go without gloves, but if you've got gloves around and you want to cover your hands, you very likely will get paint on them at some point. Or a paper towel, or I'm sorry, a paper plate might be something that you could use to set your stuff on to keep your workspace nice and clean. So I really am just going to start with this clear plastic lid and my little container, and I think I'm going to start this one with black. And I'm going to actually go around the outside of my container. And this is pouring paint, so it's not quite as, not thick, but it is a little bit thicker than most. So that's just going to be the edge once I get all my paints in there. And yes, I have already gotten a little bit of paint on my fingers. So again, up to you folks if how you wish to cover your hands or not, depending on how you feel about pouring out or cleaning up afterwards. So I'm just going to do a little dollop of the white pearl in the middle, and then I'm going to come back with a little bit of my blue pearl here, and I'm just pouring directly in. So this is something that's kind of a, if you've done paint pouring before, you may have heard it referred to as a dirty pour, where we are just pouring each one of those colors right on top of each other and mixing those together. And I'm just going to keep doing that. Maybe not in the same order. Maybe we come back and just tilting my little container here so that the paint really spreads out to the edges in that black paint. And you know what, maybe I'm going to come off the side a little bit here with some of this. That turquoise. I got a lot of this gold. I'm going to come back with some more gold. And one more. And some white. So I do have a fair amount of paint left over. Not as much the black, but the other colors. So I could do something else with them after. But let's go ahead and start this. So I'm just going to kind of shake mine to get around to the edges to get a little bit of shape. And so we're getting some movement there. Up to you which side of the dowel you use. This fine point one is going to give you really slim pulls. Your wider side is going to get you wider pulls. Although if I use kind of this straight edge, and I'm just going to pull through. So see, I'm moving that paint in kind of a swirl. Bring that black a little bit back in. Come over here, do the same thing. Go out the other direction. And I'm just trying to marble up this paint slightly. Slowly going through with my dowel so that I've got those movements starting to happen within the paint. I'm going to cross hash that. I'm going to come back this way. This I'm going to do a little bit more methodically, where I'm coming down, kind of coming over, back up. Again, giving it a little bit of space. And I'm not mixing very quickly so that those colors kind of stay separate. So there's that. Oh, a little bit of drips. Add some depth. So now if I come with my little pointy piece and do that same one more time across here. Oh yeah, I'm really liking how that's marbling out. There we go. All right, so now we've got kind of our paint bed ready to go. Bring my paper plate in here. Kind of get us a little bit more centered. So the canvases are stapled, so they're going to give you a good hold. I'm just going to stick my fingers in, holding kind of at least 3 of the corners, and then using my other fingers to really hold. I got a little bit of paint on the top, but that's not too bad. And then I really am going to dunk directly into my paint. I'm going to try and pull kind of straight back out. You can give it a little twist. You can kind of try and scoop a little bit and come to the side like that. But for this first one, I'm just going to come directly down into the paint, pushing so that I know I've got it kind of all the way around. I could even let go and make sure that at every corner that paint is all the way into my canvas. And then grabbing it back by those 3 corners. This is going to be a little shake to get it to release and turn over. Oh wow, look at that. You can already see those colors are kind of giving some bubbles. If you have, and if you are comfortable with, you can torch these to get some of those, or even try with a heat gun if you've got one of those to get some of those cells to really pop out. But that is giving off such a floral pattern to me, and I love that. And so we've got kind of that reverse of it there in my paint. And I'm just going to take that little cup, slide this guy right down on top and set him over there. And I've got one more canvas. Let's see. So I can kind of come with what paint is here. Let's just kind of move it around. Some more of that black into it. I've still got a good amount of paint in this tray here. You are very much going to have more than enough paint to do these 2 canvases. You'll have a couple of options of what to do with what's in there. All right, this one I'm going to give it a little twist. Make sure it's down in there, kind of to the side. To the other side, I don't have that much room to twist in here, but then pop out. Oh, wow. And with the amount of paint that's in there, can you see there are like actually ridges of paint? Like there's some dimensionality, but look, I did miss a little bit. So I'm just going to come right back over here, get some paint on there, maybe even kind of let what paint is on the canvas itself get some movement. So you see I'm just giving it a little bit of shake, and that spot where there was no paint is starting to close up, and there it is. Oh, and that's very much more geological to me, where it's kind of that run through, but getting some good cells. But yeah, that spot where there was no paint has been covered up. So no worries if you didn't. On this one, I'm actually going to go ahead and dip my edges. Get a little bit of paint on that edge. Since I've kind of got it in hand here, get that paint all the way around. I may want to, there we go. Holding it is going to be the piece that is the most difficult. Let's do it like this. There we go. Just that one last edge. Oh, because I'm really trying hard not to touch the paint itself at this stage. All right, let's see. Oh, I got it. All right, last edge. Amazing. So that one is going to be so fun when it's dry. And this one I'll sit here on my paper towel. Especially since I got paint all the way to the edges of it. Perfect. Oh, look at those. And then so I do still have some paint in the tray. If I've got other things that I want to add pouring paint to, if you've got wooden blanks or other canvases left over from things that you'd want to do with the pouring paint, by all means feel free. With my examples, so with the ones I did for my test run, really I used the white along the edge, so it's a little bit more of a kind of brightness to the edge. You could try one of the blues at the edge. You could go straight dirty pour from the center and just circle, 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 circle until it reaches all the way to the edge. Definitely give it a try, different things. So with those test runs, the paint that was left in the tray, I just let it sit out. No, it took probably 3 or 4 days, but I did ultimately end up with a dried, just kind of slab of paint, although I had paint on my hand, so now there's paint on it. So something like this, I could actually trim out and use this paint on different things. So just a thought, if you just want to leave it sit there till it kind of solidifies, you can use it on other projects, cut out cool shapes, and that kind of stuff. As always, we hope you enjoyed this Canvas project tutorial, and we would love to see how your dipped canvases come out. And thanks so much for watching.